She mopped his floors for 3 years. He didn't know her name. Tonight, he's going to beg her to stay forever. This is the Billionaires Cleaner. Sarah had exactly $2 left in her purse and a mop in her hand. She worked the night shift at Calder Tower, the tallest glass building in the city, owned by a man she had never spoken to. Lucas Calder, 34 years old, the youngest billionaire on the continent, and, according to the tabloids, completely incapable of love. She didn't believe in tabloids. She believed in rent. Every night at 11 p.m., she rode the service elevator to the 40th floor and cleaned the executive suite no one was supposed to be in. Except tonight, someone was. The light under the door was on. Sarah hesitated, her cart squeaking softly behind her, and pushed it open anyway. And there he was, Lucas Calder, sleeves rolled to the elbow, tie loosened, staring at a wall of numbers like they had personally betrayed him. "I can come back," she said quickly. "No." His voice was rough, tired. "Stay, please. I haven't heard another human voice in 6 hours." She blinked. Billionaires did not say please to cleaners. But he did. And something about the exhaustion in his eyes made her set the mop against the wall instead of leaving. "Rough day, sir?" "Don't call me sir." He rubbed his face. "I just lost $40 million in a deal I should have walked away from a month ago. Everyone downstairs is afraid to tell me I made a mistake." "You did," Sarah said, before she could stop herself. Lucas looked up, really looked at her, for the first time in 3 years. "Excuse me? You heard me?" She picked up her cloth and started wiping the glass desk, refusing to let her hands shake. You don't make a deal that big because the numbers feel close. You make it because it's right. If everyone's afraid to tell you the truth, that's not their failure. That's the kind of king you've become. The room went silent. For a long moment, the only sound was the hum of the city 40 floors below. Then Lucas laughed, really laughed, the kind that surprised even him. "What's your name?" she answers. "Sarah." "Sarah." He said it slowly, like he was tasting a word in a new language. "I've walked past you for 3 years," she replied. "I know. Why didn't you ever say anything?" She met his eyes, steady, and replied, "Would you have listened?" He didn't have an answer. And that, somehow, was the most honest thing he'd said all year. It became a habit neither of them named. Every night at 11, Lucas stayed late, later than his board, later than his assistant, later than made any business sense, just to talk to the woman with the mop and the mouth that didn't flatter him. She told him about her mother's hospital bills. He told her about the father who built an empire and never once said he was proud of him. She told him she dreamed of opening a small bakery. He told her he hadn't dreamed of anything in years until now. One night, she caught him watching her instead of his laptop. "What?" she asked, self-conscious, tucking some strands of hair behind her ear. "Nothing." He stood, crossing the room slower than necessary, stopping close enough that she had to tilt her head up to hold his gaze. The air between them felt suddenly thinner, charged, the kind of silence that asks a question neither person is brave enough to say out loud. "Lucas." Her voice was barely above a whisper. "I clean your floors. I don't care what you do for a living, Sarah." His hand rose, not quite touching her cheek, hovering there like he was asking permission. "I care that you're the only honest thing in this entire building." She should have stepped back. She didn't. "This is a terrible idea," she breathed. "The worst," he agreed, and closed the distance anyway. Of course it couldn't stay a secret. Calder Tower ran on gossip the way other buildings ran on electricity, and within a week, the board found out. They called it a scandal. They called her a gold digger. They called an emergency meeting and demanded Lucas choose the company or the cleaner. He stood at the head of that boardroom table, the same one he'd built his empire around, and looked at 12 men who had never once asked his name with kindness. "I built this company from nothing," he said quietly. "I know exactly what it costs to fight for something real. So no, I won't be choosing the company over her. I'll be choosing whether any of you still work for it." He fired 3 board members that morning. Sarah nearly fainted when she heard. "You didn't have to do that," she told him that night, equal parts furious and overwhelmed, standing in the same suite where this all began. "Yes, I did." He took both her hands in his, and for the first time, he wasn't a billionaire, and she wasn't a cleaner. They were just 2 people who had found something neither of them was looking for. "Sarah, I have spent my whole life being powerful and completely alone. You walked in here with a mop and gave me the only honest year of my life. I am not losing that for a boardroom." Her eyes filled, though she fought it. "People are going to talk. Let them." He pulled a small velvet box from his pocket, one he has been carrying for 2 weeks, waiting for the right moment, and realizing there would never be a perfect one, only a true one. "I don't want 40 floors between us anymore, Sarah. I want a kitchen, a bakery, if that's still the dream. A life that's loud and small and entirely ours. Marry me, not the billionaire, just me." 6 months later, there's a small bakery on the corner of 5th and Lincoln. The sign above the door reads, "Sarah's Bakery," handwritten, slightly crooked, exactly the way she wanted it. Some mornings, a former billionaire ties on an apron and burns the croissants, and she laughs at him every single time. He still owns Calder Tower. But these days, he says the only floor that ever truly mattered to him was the 40th. If you believe love doesn't check your bank account before it knocks on your door, let us know in the comments. And if this story moved you, subscribe to Storyverse Tales. We tell the stories that remind you what's real.